You ever been in that place where you've had like traumatic events and, well, you seem to cannot like get away from those thoughts? You know, if you drink or you party with your friends, sometimes enough alcohol will start bringing out all that like trauma of the past, right? You know, that unhealed area. There is a way out. So, what is the solution, right, to not having these traumas keep coming up? I used to, see myself as a victim in some situations, right? And the real solution is stepping into gratitude, because everything that you experience always brings you into a step one moment. And that step one moment in terms of like manifestation and the reality which you want and prefer to be here now is, it's giving you a step one moment where you realize you want something different. That's the step one. You start realizing and wanting something new into your life, and all manifestations are about 99.9% created already. All you have to do is shift your vibration to manifest, and manifestation means becoming visible. Once you're the vibrational wavelength of the thing you desire in your life, it becomes visible and manifests because you can see it. Now you're a vibrational match. It's like tuning a radio dial to that station. I did not want to make a video today. I've been really like just not feeling it lately because I've been really tired. My sleep schedule's all messed up. However, it's like a tuning fork, or not fork, but radio. It's like tuning yourself to the radio station that you want to match on, and you're gonna go ahead and shift to that reality, and then your manifestations become visible. Now I know I went off on little railroads here, a little off the tracks. So my point with this is there is a way to actually shift and heal these intrusive thoughts of traumas of the past, right? And it comes from viewing yourself as a victim to a victor. So from victim to victor, and the way you do that again is to show gratitude for the experience, because now you're at a step one moment, and now we understand a little bit of manifestation. You get to decide, and you've learned from the experience, and now you want something new in your life because of it. So showing gratitude towards it. It's not that it happened to you, it's that it happened for you. And I'm Vinci. I'm your Divine Feminine Empowerment and Spiritual Awakening Coach, and I'm here to help you move from the fear that you have in your life to the freedom of living to your fullest expression, cultivate deep and meaningful relationships, romantic and non-romantic, with others, and most importantly, falling completely in love with your life. And just when you think you can't take another step, I'm here to help you. Well, I'm going to give you a little push so you can fall in love with yourself. People always have two paths, right? They can either stay in that victimhood mentality where it sucks, they get drunk and they cry to their friends, and it's the same story, almost like they're like that wounded inner child part of them, or that wounded part of them that when it happened is still hurting, and they want the attention and they want it from someone else to sit there with them in that pain. And I dated a woman who had experienced traumatic events in her life. There are some, actual victimization parts, right? However, a lot of the times she would sit in the misery when she would get drunk, and she liked to drink, and she would just start spilling all these traumatic events that happened to her all the time and stuff. And like for 2 years, I, try to emotionally support her as much as possible. And, this person ended up kind of being more of a narcissistic type person anyway. Every time she would also do this, I would, my empath self would kick in more, and I would want to serve her in a more deep way. And it's like nothing I did could ever heal her, even though I like try to get her, I try to book her with a psychologist. She didn't want to schedule her appointment, tried to reschedule them, avoided it. Like it was this whole mishap thing, right? However, my point is this person didn't want to do the work. One time we got in an argument, and I said, hey, you sure do like to attack me on all of my stuff, right? And I'm doing the work. I scheduled my psychologist. Although it turns out she started claiming I was all these things like ADHD and OCD and all this stuff. She would just keep giving me psychological things like where's your doctorate, first of all, to like start labeling me like this. Except back then I was not as so strong in my frame, and I started to believe some of the stuff. She gaslit me into believing there was a lot of things wrong with me. I got a psychologist. I'm not truly ADHD or any of the things that this ex told me about myself. But I started to believe and I started falling into it, right? However, I pointed out in the argument once, I was like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to heal? Because it seems like you're not doing any of the work, and every time you drink, the stuff just keeps coming out of you. And it's like, you're not healed from it. And she's like, what are you talking about? I am healed from it. And then she tried to pick a fight with me and gaslight me and manipulate me more. But like, you know, and then she raises her voice and yells and stuff, and I would be like, you know, like kind of just scared almost. And she was physically abusive at one point, you know, and I was dependent on her financially during that 2020 time when things got real funny. So I kind of felt like I was stuck and didn't have a choice. However, my point with all this is this person stayed in victim mentality versus like alchemizing the energy to victor and realizing like she doesn't have to live this life the way she is. And she didn't love herself because of some of the stuff that happened to her. She saw herself as broken, like broken goods. And, you know, my heart goes out to her. I unconditionally love her, you know, love without condition needing to change, even though she mistreated me in ways. Like, I still want the best for her, and I hope she's doing well. Like, I don't want anything bad for her, right? That's what unconditional love is. Regardless of how it happened, how the relationship went. However, my point is you can alchemize the energy, because what people don't get is your unique story and light serves a purpose when you share it vulnerably in a way that has an outcome of, here's how I got over this. And it's the hero's journey that you're sharing. What did you do to solve this, right? Because people want an answer to their problem, to the pain, the guilt, the shame, you know, all that sadness and depression that they're holding on to. People want to feel free from it. Sometimes it just takes someone sitting next to you just kind of sit in your misery. However, if it's an ongoing thing, right, it's a constant repetitive cycle, woe is me, you're a victim, like, you gotta let that go, because you're holding on to an energy that you're carrying on with you. And this person I dated held on to this energy for so long and didn't want to get better. Like, they genuinely didn't want to get better. And it was crazy because, like, they told me a lot of weird things about psychology. Like, they had a psychologist friend and they want to be a psychologist. And then she also said she knows she needs therapy and needs to, like, you know, see someone. But when the time came, she didn't want to. And then one time we got in a fight, and this was the most gaslighting thing I ever heard in my entire life. She said that she never wanted to see a psychologist and that I should be the one to see a psychologist or a therapist. Yeah, that she doesn't want therapy. She thinks I need therapy, and then also said that the only thing she ever said was she wanted to be a therapist. So, you know, I didn't realize that I was dealing with the gaslighting, narcissistic type person who was manipulative the whole time in the relationship. Like, I only heard, like, anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into it. Because it's like, it's just so interesting to, like, see someone say something that they really want to heal from and then they back out. Like almost they're afraid of feeling good, of, like, getting better. Like, they want to prove to the world that they're right and they deserve to be in pain and agony because of what happened to them. And I'm sorry for anybody going through pain and agony. Like, my heart is out to you. I don't mean this in like a, you know, nobody deserves it, right? However, you take that energy and you alchemize it to help others. You share that light with others, because through that pain, there is light. And there's also a world that you don't have to experience that kind of pain again. However, it does start from within. And the best thing you can do is alchemize it to help others. Like, maybe you experienced that so you could help others. Like, if you don't experience the pain and you want to make content or help others in the way I'm doing right now, you know, I'm sharing some of my struggles and some of my hurdles, you know. So some of my videos I talk about, the narcissistic empath relationship, right? And when I was like 19 and in my 20s, I wasn't exactly the best version of myself, you know? Like, I was very much in my toxic masculine. From growing up from an abusive dad, that's all I knew. I didn't even know what a healthy, like, family relationship looked like. You know, nobody ever talked about any feelings or anything like that. And it's like, I didn't even know how to communicate my own emotions. I had to go through all these hurdles and struggles. And yeah, there was times where I wasn't so kind. You know, I could have been way better. However, how can I be upset at my, younger side of me, even if I was 19 or 20? Like, it's like looking at me at kindergarten and having some attitude and pushing someone. Like, I can't be upset at myself. I was a kid. I didn't know any better, right? So in the same way, you can't ever actually be mad at yourself for not knowing any better. However, it's like, you got to pull yourself out of the victimhood. I'm only sharing because it's like, I went through stuff like this. Again, it's about alchemizing it. And you can't speak about stuff to help people. I mean, you can, but it's a lot more difficult to relate to others and communicate with others when you haven't actually experienced that pain. You're not speaking from a place of like, it's been kind of personal, so you can share that experience. That's why sometimes you go through things so you can share with others. And guess what? This is a tantra. This is the universe experiencing itself. And through part of that woven process of the physical and the metaphysical all together, we get to share our journeys with one another to help us on our journeys. Right? So it's, again, my whole point of this video is alchemize. Alchemize the pain in a way that you can help others, help yourself, see it is a good thing, because if you didn't experience it, it's going to be more difficult to help others, right? People like to hear it from a story and the relatability. And I mean, I wouldn't want to listen to someone talking to me about like, dysfunctional families and stuff when they grew up in a perfect family and like they didn't have any struggles. It's like, all right, you're telling me all the right answers because somehow you know them, but like, like I want to know your experience. Like, how did you go? Like, oh wait, you didn't. Well, now I don't have all I have is this textbook answer of like, here's how you get better, or I'm not gonna remember it. People don't remember very much of the answers anyway. They actually relate more to the story. People remember stories. Okay. However, here's the biggest key about alchemizing this, if you do choose to share it with others and help people, is it's very, very difficult to help others when you're still going through your own shit. Like, if you're still in your own shit and you haven't worked through it and found the gratitude and the light, and you can't just look at it like, oh, this is good for me because now I can help others, now I have a reason that it's all, good now. It doesn't work like that. Like, you do have to also meet yourself and sit with yourself in the depths of that pain and just learn how to not identify with your emotions, but let them release, let them feel free. Like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't ever make anything right what anybody ever did. Like, it doesn't make anything that anybody ever did that was bad to you, like, right. It's just really learning about like how to let go. Because the other thing is too, like, when you hold on to this type of trauma, like, you'll continuously keep experiencing it in your reality, as the law of attraction will just bring it to you. And until you really learn that situation and the karmatic cycle and the lesson from it, it kind of just repeats itself. And guess what, Buttercup? A lot of times it's new levels, same frickin' devils. All right, it's just like, how good are you consciously now aware of it? And the sooner you're more aware, the quicker it goes by. And like a couple years ago, I met this like gorgeous woman, like muscle mommy, like, super hottie, right? She checked all the boxes, freaky deaky, like all the stuff that I liked. And we had a lot of fun. However, there was some like emotional, like weird things going on, which normally, past version of me, up until, I because I grew out of it, I recognized it and I was able to communicate my feelings and my emotions and say like, hey, this doesn't actually work for me. I was able to set boundaries. I was able to speak clearly and not like feed into stuff hoping that she would stick around. I was okay with letting go of the outcome and letting her go, right? Because I realized it wasn't healthy. Like some of the stuff, it's like, this is a past pattern repeating. And although you check off boxes that are like, oh yes, please, right? The boxes that were my core values, I wasn't gonna mitigate anymore, right? Like I wasn't gonna shift. And you know what happened? That relationship came and went like very quickly. And it was a really wonderful experience. And part of it too, not only did I realize I've grown past like the way I used to respond or react to things, I also learned a lot, which made room for a healthier type of relationship in my life, right? Because now I'm not looking for things that serve my and feed my attachments to like, oh, I want this, or, you know, kinks or whatever. So I'm just pointing it out. It's going to repeat itself in a way. And it's like, the more aware you are to it, the quicker you can let things go when you know it's not going to serve you much longer. All right. So you can't share stuff unless you've healed from it. I mean, you can. It's really difficult to share when you're in your shit and you're still in the trauma of victimhood. Like, focus on the healing and know that it's going to serve people in a better way. And you get to alchemize that energy. So you don't no longer have to sit there, you know, drunk with people and then wanting the attention and feeling like you deserve this. And like, the more you let people give you attention to that pain, the more you really start to believe you deserve it, because the more people feel bad for you or feel sorry for you, like, and the more you're grabbing that attention, the more you're keeping yourself in that like vicious cycle. And you're going to trauma bond with people that you don't want to trauma bond. You know what trauma bonds are? It's a bond. They're not very easy to break. You get stuck in it. Endless loop of depression, sadness, misery loves company. All right? So again, let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of this stuff. Let me know if there's anything else you want to hear about, if anything else I can make a video on. I would love to support you on your journey. So yeah, much love, Cosmic Soul. Love and light vibration out. Have a wonderful, magnificent, transformative, alchemizing day.